Well, again, there we go. That's me. Thank you. And I don't know what happened. Here it is. So again, thank you for Dave for joining us for the team skills that everybody needs. As we know, we always work as a team wherever we're at, even at home. So thank you for being here with us today. One of the things that you will learn today from this workshops is the definition of a team, the characteristics of a successful team, and the role in a team. That's the role that we play in each team when we're there. And a lot of you might ask, well, what is really a team? And again, the team is a group of people. When you meet together, you get together, and you're actually complementing your skills, and also you're working towards the commitments. Now, this is when you're working in a company, in an agency, you have to know what is the purpose. What's the common purpose of the agency or the store, wherever you're at? What are the performance goals for your team? What is the expectation? What are the roles that each of us have to play in order to meet those performance goals and be successful? Also, approach with mutual accountability. When we're in a team, what this means is that all of us are playing a role, and each of us has a part to play. If one of us has a responsibility or an accountability of a role and we're not doing it, it actually is going to make the whole team not succeed as we're supposed to. So knowing what our roles are and what the part we're playing, the timelines that we have to make the team successful are very important. And these are things that we're supposed to learn and find out once we start in any employment and any position we start working in. On this one here, what are the team characteristics? How does a team complement each other? What is the common purpose of the team? The performance goals of the team? What is the common approach? And also have mutual accountability. As I mentioned before, we all play a part in the team. And I'm going to make it a little bit of an example. Even sometimes when you go and meet with some friends, and all the time, sometimes you'll ask for one of your friends, so where are we going to meet? What would be a good place to meet? Someone has to say, well, let's go to Chili's, or let's go wherever you meet, if you feel more together. Maybe we want to go to the park or to the beach to meet. But someone has to tell the rest of the team where are they going to meet, the time they're going to meet. That way, everybody knows where you're supposed to be at. That's a team of friends. But when you're working, it's your team that you're working with to meet the goals that they have given to you, and what are the performance that you have to be able to meet in order to make it a successful team. The complementary skills is how to enhance one another. Everybody has different skills. Some are more technical. They're excellent with technical skills. Other individuals are functional skills. So what skills does our team need to perform well? What are the things that we have to do to make sure that we meet the expectations? This can also be soft skills such as problem solving or decision making, identifying the problems and evaluating solutions, and decide one another alternative solutions. Sometimes in a team, we'll have someone that drives a team, and mostly it's like a team leader. And you'll see, because it's a person that you tend to follow and has an idea of a timeline or when things have to be done. And you also have to know what are the characteristics of each individual to make sure that we're performing to the max expectation that we can. Leadership skills. This, again, brings organization and logical structure into the ways that things are done. This is the individual that's going to have, as I was mentioning, they have a time frame, they have an idea what's the structure and what sequence things have to be done. Also establish and enforces appropriate plans and procedures. Like for this here, many times they have to give you timelines. Someone has to do Like I have to meet, for example, we have to have calendar workshops done. So we have to have a timeline that we have to have them done before the end of the month so that we can submit it and provide this information to all our participants. So we meet as a team, and every member in the team will be doing a different role. We're providing maybe recruitments, maybe workshops, and some are best doing, for example, financial workshops. Others are best doing recruitments or work readiness. So each member of the team wears a specific hat, but we also can change hats because this is why we support each other. So that's the roles and the responsibilities. We know that there's a timeline and there's sensitivity because we have to have done things done in a certain time. It also measures the team as the appropriate skills and resources to perform well. We have to make sure that everyone in the team is doing their part. And then we also go back and evaluate, make sure that we're going to be available, that we have the times to do this, because sometimes life happens. Let's say I have a workshop today and I get sick, or somebody else was supposed to help me co-host and that person is not available today because they're out of the office. So we have to know who else can come up and help us. Who's going to be the person that's going to be supporting us as a team. So these are the things that we learn, and working as a team and knowing what each of us can do best is the best way to make and meet our performance goals. Now, our interpersonal skills, listening actively. This is very important. Sometimes when people are talking or they're giving us information, we're too busy thinking of what we want or what we want to ask. And we're not really listening on the information being provided. So this is something sometimes we have to work in, making sure that we are actively listening, giving good feedback, appropriate feedback, like something's going on. Maybe somebody realizes, oh, this has happened, for example, to me, scheduling something and I forget that we're off every other Friday, the office is closed. And if I don't mark it in my calendar, I might think that I'm going to be working that Friday and I might be trying to schedule participants when in actuality, the office is going to be closed. So making sure that we keep all the information on our calendar actual so that we try to avoid any mistakes. Mistakes are done, but we can always correct them. So always remember, it's not wrong. Sometimes we can make mistakes, but we also learn from them. And for the next time, we'll be actually more prepared and more ready. Giving the benefit of the doubt. Sometimes we not be agreeing with somebody else because sometimes something is going to be taking place. Sometimes, for example, we might be having a lot of recruitments that you could say, and I'm going to use this as an example. But sometimes we have to remember not everybody can attend the recruitments on the same day or the same time. And that's why sometimes we offer them more than once to give the advantage to all of those other participants that could make it to the first one. And we also record it for those that maybe are out of the house or not going to be able to make it anytime. But we can also offer them the recording so that they can not lose out and they can get the information if they're looking for employment. Supporting one another. Like, for example, somebody can make it to co-host with me. Monica jumped in to help me out. Always having each other's back so that we can make it a successful team. And we know that we can count and rely on each other as a team. So wherever you go, you have to establish a rapport with all the individuals that you're working with. And again, recognizing one another. Everybody has different strengths. We're all not the same. And recognizing the strengths that each individual brings to the team is something excellent because it lets you see how sometimes we can learn from one another, how we do things, and the things that we admire of other persons, we can try to learn from them. And other things that they admire from us, they can also try to learn. So we learn from each other day by day and also acknowledge our achievements. Everybody works really hard, but always making sure that you acknowledge and you compliment individuals when you see they're doing a great job or they're helping and supporting you. Always acknowledge the achievements of other ones around you. And that's a really, really good positive thing to do. A common purpose is a challenge for a team, but the reason for being a team. This is exactly true. Every year we have new challenges, we have new performance goals, but again, we challenge ourselves to provide a better service, to learn more, to be actualized in everything that's going on. Like right now with the pandemic, for example, we're learning that a lot of the times when we're here now, we have a lot of the interviews and they're via Zoom. So we're learning new technology and how we can prepare our participants and ourselves when we're doing presentations, because now this is the way they're doing things. This is the way of doing business. Everything has changed. Even though it seems to be going back, we still have a lot of things that we have to change in order to be successful. The common purpose serves as a guide, motivating the team, and also the fundamental reason for the team to go for the extra effort to make sure that every member in the team succeeds in whatever performance goals they're given. And that's by supporting each other. For example, have you ever been a member of a team where a clear common purpose, they have a purpose, you know what you're supposed to do? And how did it feel when somebody tells you something you have to do? They tell you by when it has to be done. They're giving you a timeline, and it's specifically what's expected of you. And does this motivate you? When you have a clear purpose, when you know exactly what expectations are that you're supposed to be fulfilling. What skills did you bring to the team at that moment? Were they technical? Were you problem solving? Was it leadership, or was it interpersonal? There's so many things we bring to the table. And as a team, we all have different skills and different strengths. And again, it complements each other and it makes us a great and successful team. So always knowing exactly what is expected of us, for me, is essential. If somebody asks something from me, but they don't tell me by when they want it done or how's the process that they want me to do it, I might do it and I may fail because I was never given a timeline by when I had it done, or if there's a particular process that you have to follow. So if you don't have clear expectations of what you're supposed to be doing, sometimes it's hard to meet the goals if there's not a clear direction. That's why it's very important to have that clear common purpose as a team and find out what is our role and what we have to do so our team will be successful. How the team works together to accomplish their purpose. Each team member must do an equivalent amount of work. And sometimes you can hear, I've heard a lot of participants and friends and family members say, you know, I'm working really hard, but my coworker comes in late. She takes long lunches, never on time. I ask her to help me with something and she has an attitude and I feel really bad. I think we've all been there. And that's why it's important that we all carry our own weight and be responsible when we're working in a team in any place, even at home. Sometimes you might have someone in your household that you feel that you're doing more than the other person, and we can get resentful. And it's very normal. I mean, it's very human. So again, making sure that we're doing our part so that the team can function better. And this applies for us in our everyday life as well. How we develop with our family members, how we develop with our friends. And sometimes we'll have friends that you say, and I've heard this said, oh, I have this friend, but you know, she tells me she's going to be here at 1 o'clock and she doesn't get here until 3 o'clock. And I just lost 2 hours of my time. Again, being tactful and also being appreciative of the time that other people are giving us is very important. Time conscience, especially when our time, we always feel we're running. Being on time when you're working, taking the proper time for your breaks or for lunches, being back on time to support the individual that's behind covering for us is very important. Or sometimes doing other duties is assigned. Sometimes the person maybe in the front desk is not there and I'll have to sit in the front desk as a receptionist because we need to cover that position and we'll take different turns to make sure that the job and the work flows as it's supposed to without the participants knowing that we were short-staffed. Who will do particular jobs or complete particular tasks? This is something that, again, as a team member, we have to know what is my task, what is my job, and by when do I have to complete it? How schedules are set and met. What is the purpose of having schedules and meet them at a certain time? How skills are developed. Like sometimes our skills can be maybe not as brushed up. Maybe we have to take a few computer classes to be up more to date because technology is changing so fast. Taking a few classes in community college to be able to be a part and to be able to be more successful and be more efficient. How are decisions made? Do we make good decisions, or sometimes we don't really think of the outcome? We have to think about everything to make sure that everything we're doing is going to be in the best interest of our team and our performance goals that we have been given. Okay. Not moving. Let me see. There. How to establish your roles and responsibilities. For example, project manager serves as the leader of the team because he's going to be giving assignments to each member of the team. If you have an assignment and you don't quite understand what the assignment is or how you're supposed to do it, or there's a timeline that you have a question, don't hesitate to ask questions and get clarification from the team if you are unsure of the specific responsibilities that you've been giving. This way, you don't, sometimes if you go to a meeting and you can say, I didn't really understand what they were saying. Don't wait until the meeting has ended. When they give you an assignment and you quite don't understand, you can say, can you please repeat the question or let me know what is expected, how am I supposed to do it? So you have a clear expectation of what your responsibility is going to be and how you're going to fulfill that responsibility. Also seek constructive feedback. Sometimes there are individuals in our teams that have much more experience and can help us and guide us and help us do our best performance. So always know, reach out to others that you feel comfortable with, one in your team, and get the feedback on how you are performing. Is there something I can do to make it better? Do you have any suggestions for me? I've been doing it this way. Should I try it? Do you have an idea how I can make it better? And somebody will always help you out. And again, this is when you start developing that rapport with different individuals and you feel comfortable asking. And it's not about passing judgment or you don't know how to do it. No, it's about how can I learn to do it better? You're doing it, but let's see, is there a better way to do it? Is there something else I can learn? And it'll also be something that'll be improving in the future. Understanding when to lead and when to follow. This is very important. This is experience. Who has the most experience in this given situation based on the performance or the task that you've been given? Who has the ability to lead the group? It varies depending on the task that you're going to be doing. Who has the time to take extra responsibilities at this moment? Who has less work in their hands right now that can take this extra step? Who has the desire to the leadership role most? Who's well-rounded? Most well-rounded leaders develop the skills to lead and follow because not everybody knows everything. Sometimes the leader will step aside because there's someone in the team that has more information and more experience in whatever task they're going to be doing. And then they'll start following the person that has the expertise. So a leader doesn't have to lead all the time. They also have to know when to follow someone that has more experience in that area. And it doesn't make you less of a person. On the contrary, you're well-rounded because you know when somebody else, and you acknowledge when somebody else has a better expertise and better skills in that area, and you're going to let that person go and you're going to follow them to make sure that that task is completed successfully. Questions? I hope I wouldn't go too fast. Let me stop share.
see.
There.
We have
Okay.
one earlier. I wish I had this information yesterday. I had a lot of questions on my interview about leadership and teams. They complimented your presentation. Let's see. So does anybody have any other additional questions, or do you want to touch base on that, Sylvia?
Sure. One of the things that we have to know, for example, on leadership and teams is depending on the position that you're applying for. When you look at your job description, it's pretty much telling you what the expectation for you is on that team. Depending on what it is, it'll let you know, like if you're going to be providing information in certain areas, do you have the experience there? Again, you can also go and find out. I always use a lot of YouTube nowadays because I've learned a lot, especially from being home, how you can actually prepare yourself or see how others do things. And they have a lot of videos, and you can select different videos to learn how to be more prepared. And again, based on the position that you apply, most of the time, the job description is going to give you all the information you need and what they're going to be asking. Because they'll always ask you, for example, can you let us know, or they're requesting 3 or 4 years of experience in certain area, or they're asking if you're knowledgeable in certain computers or programs that they have. And that's when you can go and check and see what can you do to be brush up on your computer skills or whatever the need may be for the position that you're applying. And this is how you work. And again, for leadership and for team building, it's always working with a group of people, and depending if you know who's going to be your team. But when you're applying, you're just trying to find out who is my team, who's my supervisor, where I'll be reporting, and what are the expectations. What is the most important piece that I should know about this position, or that you're more concerned about, that I should be doing best? Any information. And again, this raises questions again when you do that for your interviewing. But remember, as a team, also remember this actually goes more than just in the workplace. It's also applied in our homes. It's applied how we interact with our friends. And even with your friends, you have groups of people that will be doing, for example, the planning of where you're meeting, the time frame where you're going to be. I have 1 hour, I have 2 hours. It's always working as a team if you think about it. Even when you go, for example, a few groups and people clubs that you go to, there's always someone that's going to be telling you what the activities are, when they're going to start, and how we gather information from everybody around us. And this is just basically it's every day. That's why I always feel like teams is something that goes beyond work. It carries to your friendships, to your family, and how we develop day by day. I hope that kind of answers the question. Any other questions?
There's no more questions in the chat box. Does anybody else have any questions?
No? Well, thank you so much, everybody. We really appreciate you being here, and we hope we see you at the 1 o'clock recruitment today. And again, if you don't have the links, please let your work readiness know, and we'll be more than happy to send them to you. I see, I had a friend, she told me, I didn't see that.
Oh, that one just popped up.
Oh.
Okay, so I guess it's a scenario. I had a friend, she told me to meet her at 10 a.m., but she was not there until 12 p.m. And it really upset me, because even though I don't have a job, it doesn't mean I don't have nothing to do.
Exactly. Right. You know, I've had that happen. That's why I like to mention it. I had a friend, and she said, I'll be in your house at 1 o'clock. I called her at 1:15 and nothing. And then at 2 o'clock came, she didn't get home until 3. And I was frustrated because I felt you're not taking into consideration. I could have been doing something else for the past 2 hours. And I was really upset, to be honest. And I shouldn't have been, but I was, because I feel they were not respectful of my time as I was respectful of theirs. So I did mention to my friend, next time, please let me know what time you're going to be coming, because I could have done other things. And I wasn't sure if you were just going to show up or not. And I would really appreciate it if you let me know in the future. The other one that I have a pet peeve, again, I'm a little bit of a dinosaur. when I'm with friends, I kind of get frustrated if I'm talking to a friend and they're in their cell phone talking to somebody else, and I'm sitting there for 15 minutes listening to a conversation after I made the time to be with them. So we just have to be sensitive and be aware of the people that are around us so that we don't make them feel bad as well. And again, I think Juanita says, please make sure your name and profile reflects on the Section 8 program so we can give you credit for attending. Thank you, Juanita. And again, thank you everybody for being here. I don't see any more questions and hope to see you at 1 o'clock. Thank you and have a great day. Monica, thank you so much. Appreciate it.
Presentation. Thank you. Have a good one, everyone.
Thank you. Have a great day. Thank you.